All right, make sure that the broadcast is going. Just need to step out and... All right, this is Black Knight, just making sure that the broadcast is going. I'm broadcasting live just to go through some bomber operations. Hopefully the stream comes out okay and the video clears up. Hopefully the mic sound is good. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm going to jump out of this plane and allow the AI to fly that one. I'm going to come over here where I've got a base of operations to where I have an air spawn for bombers. I tried to do a ground spawn, but again, if you watch one of my previous videos, I explain why a ground spawn is harder to do because of non-waypoint control on the mission briefing and map briefing. As I said, if you guys can come up with a flight plan tab to create a flight plan after you create your group with, right clicking on the map. I know that doesn't show up very well in the stream, but if you right click on the map and you can add flight plan paths to the map and create your own flight plan, whether it's in single player or you spawn it at a base in single player and create your own flight plan and bring in your own squadron or group, so you don't even have to be in the single player guy. You can let the AI just take that squadron and you just have a spawn base. That's definitely possible. But what I want to just show is the air spawn at Reading. So again, you got up to 4, a group like this. First off, I want to make sure that I've got not that much fuel. So I'm going to get 35%, take my bomb load. I'm going to explain the problems that you have with the bomber group. So when I create, the first thing that you have to do is jump out of the aircraft. I'm in A and then jump back into the aircraft, and now all your guys are flying with you. I'm going to turn. Again, and I'm going to change the formation, which is tab 613. Tab 622. Get him in an ear formation. Now, I could call in a scripted mission, which is in the tab 4 mission bomber command that was created by some of the guys at Team Fusion. Go to airfields. There we go. We're just going to hit Wasant. Now, I know there's groups taking off, but it doesn't really matter. I have my group of 5, but the only problem is even though I'm the flight lead, they do not follow my instructions. So I'm just cruising around Reading. I'm going to follow the other 2 groups towards the target and just intermingle with the other 2 groups. Now, I'll bring up my map and zoom in on what I'm talking about. So the aspect of moving the waypoint or choosing the waypoint tools, trying to grab another tool that says adjust waypoint and then moving it or creating another one. So putting a waypoint here for 3. This just adds a marker. But that's not the stock mission marker. See, it doesn't give the ability for me to go to that waypoint. Just something to look into. Maybe, I don't know if it's popular, but just to have the ability to get that waypoint and move it to an area to where I might want to go and bomb. When I'm looking for the other two fleets of planes. While I fly with my group, there's one right there. Previous waypoint. Need to make sure that my guys are not flying to land or call in to land. That's why that waypoint needs to be further away or to be adjustable. Even in single player, I would like to have this capability. To bring in my own bomber squadron group and join the mission from my own group. Call signs Black Knight. Just been working with the multiple player arena and trying to get, mainly my main goal was to get bomber squadrons the capability of coming in all by themselves as a single pilot, instead of having to do all of that fancy cover coding that is done by the guys at TWC, which follow my. I think there's an easier way to bring in your bomber group, as is to then go on to a target and then bomb it, as long as all of those subordinate bombers in my flight follow my lead. So can I then go tab maybe recipient wingman 1, 2, 3, and 4? Now I don't see that in I don't see that when I bring in a fighter group, but then you have flight, which is this flight, flight 1. I want to turn on my radio. I want to make sure that my radio's on so I can communicate with them, I guess. Go back to recipients. See, and then go to flight. There should be a, under navigation, or something that says follow flight lead. Or when I take command or control of the AI, which I've done, they should follow me as the lead pilot. But again, that's one of the dilemmas in the code, is when it has take control of AI flight and you become the flight lead, your subordinate bomber should follow your key commands, like opening your bomb bay doors and releasing your bombs. Then the XSAI flying missions, you don't even need them anymore. I get those missions aren't even needed. You can have just subordinate missions running, like doing all of that stuff. You just fly your bomber group, pick your target, and then if you wanted to bring in a bomber group, just bring it in and call it in. instead of having to do the cover, the spacing, and putting in the kinetic line point and doing all of that stuff, you just fly your bomber group, pick your target, do your own flight plan. Just cruising. Got one group out there flying. We're headed to Kenley and Croydon to turn towards Gravesend as this hop. It's Gravesend. It's like Kenley to Gravesend, the French English point to Wissant. Again, call signs Black Knight. You can hit me up on the chat. You can send me a message at warbirdsofprey@gmail.com. That's warbirdsofprey@gmail.com. Just trying to build more of a player-centered, multiple-player game with the ability to bring in squadrons and fly your own squadrons. And not just be a single player taking on 6 planes, you know, and then always trying to make sure there are people on to fly with. You know, sometimes that's kind of a bummer when you get 6:30 a.m. and you want to be able to fly your own bomber group to any own target that you want to fly it to. This morning coffee hop. It is 6:30 a.m. time. Mr. Anonymous will be offline for a little bit. Let me check my audio, make sure that the Windows update didn't kick off my surround sound. Didn't do much except turn off my equalizer. Again, if you're just joining me, call signs Black Knight. Just cruising towards Kenley. Gonna head up to Gravesend, turn towards English Point, run a bomber run on Wissant. Again, in my group, the only bombs that count are mine. That's what I've been trying to work on and trying to get, why I asked for a coder in the forums. When we take control of AI plane, that group or flight that is subordinate should follow the commands of what you do in the plane. i.e. open bomb bay doors and i.e. drop bombs. When you hit those two key bindings, your bombers do the exact same thing. Right now, they're just flying cannon fodder to basically fly my wing and protect me, especially when I call them in close. I like that you have command of all of the formations. When you do it this way, you have command of all of the formations, and you also have command of all of the spacing. So I think doing this way, you don't have to write any special code for spacing. It eliminates all the seat distance and all that stuff that Fatal has created for TWC. Not to say that's a bad thing, but it just eliminates what you've got running in the background. And if you want people to build more servers and to enhance the multiple player side, for some of us that love the multiple player side, I think this is one way that you've got to cover in creating, what are some of the key aspects of single player that we can move over to multiple player to give it a whole new arena. As I said, if you go to the menu, this map you need to have access to these waypoints or creating your own flight plan in multiple player. Whether that's capable by 8.0, I don't know. I think can't get control of my group before they start. They radio to which you could do, except because that waypoint 2 is so close, I can't get control of my group before they start. They radio to the tower that they want to land. So I lose half my flight group to wanting to turn around and go back to base. That's why I've gone to air spawns. Can you create single player missions and then could take command of the group in the single player mission? Yes. If you go to Bomber Command, you can set up a whole group of different missions, as you can see in my list up here. Okay, you have the ability to do fuel, airfields, factories, ports, refineries. So you can set up different missions, and when you launch the mission, you have the ability to get into that plane if you know where the mission is launching from. And yes, you have the ability to take command of said plane. You have the ability to take control of the aircraft. And fly the aircraft in a squadron. And since the mission already has it scripted to where it's bombing, but the problem is that with bombers, if I take control of the cockpit, they don't bomb on my release or bomb when I release. If you take control of the ship, like waypoint 4 as we're crossing the channel, from waypoint 4 to waypoint 5 to where the bombs are being released over there, but before you get to waypoint 4, but the problem is you don't have anybody in your bombardier seat. So it's like you got to give up. You can fly the ship over there, but before you get to waypoint 4, you got to give command back to the AI. That's why I think going about it this way is so much easier for independent player bomber groups. And then you can limit the number of bombers based on the air spawn. Right now I have it limited to only 5, so a person can only take 5. But if you get 5 players, 5 sets of bombers, that's 25 bombers in a hop. And you have the ability to fly a tighter, more, I guess you could say, javelin or really stacked bomber group going into a target than with the way that we've got it running on PWC. It's hard to get those bombers close, and the lead plane is so far away from the group. If you don't fly your settings right, which I tried to do and tried to do multiple times, I tried to bring my guys in so tight, you know, but it's not the same as being controlled by the game. I think the game commands are a lot easier to manipulate than trying to get the seat distance 80, 85 or whatever, or 100. I think if you just use the commands in the game, it just really brings those guys in a great tight formation, which I'm not even into close formation. When I go in to bomb my target, I bring them in nice and tight in a close formation. But anyways, call signs Black Knight. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my morning coffee hop on a Saturday morning. Nothing going on this morning. Need to send a quick chat message here. Need to grab my phone. Gonna mute real quick. All right, I'm back. Again, coming up to Gravesend. Gravesend's a waypoint on mission for the bombers going to Assant that I'm going to kind of just add my bombs to, just my plane's bombs, because I don't have command over those guys. The other thing is, I could be flying over Gravesend and, oh, thanks, Ryan. Just trying to get that. Yeah. That's taken care of. Back into the pilot seat. Slight bank turn to the right. I'm sure those guys are way behind me because I'm doing about 150 and their speed's 140. I'm going to turn just a complete 360 to get them caught up. The other bombers. There's the other two groups that we're flying with. And then lower my flaps to at least 1 degree, just to control my speed. As I said, they're flying at 140 miles per hour is the scripted miles per hour. It's the best way I could keep the groups working well and not dolphin diving, not acting stupid, keep them in a decent flight pattern. I took a lot of time trying to get those bombers from takeoff to a decent altitude. To maintain a steady climb and pace instead of turning into crazy planes. So I've worked out a good series for all the airfield bomber missions. But again, this bomber hop, I'm just in it to show you guys I do have the capability of bringing in my own. Then lies that the only bombs that are going to be dropped on target, I group. Anybody can do it on the Warbirds or Prey server. The problem then lies that the only bombs that are going to be dropped on target are the ones that I drop. So I'm right with Group 1 and Group 2. And I'll fly with these guys to English Point and then turn on Wissant. Again, all are welcome to join me. Usually fly in the mornings, usually on the weekends quite a bit when I'm in the off-season being Christmas and the holidays. I am a school teacher, do work quite a bit. Enjoy my job. Did wish I get paid a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is. And if you guys want to help supplement me as a teacher, teaching civics and government and history at a predominantly poor high school, would love to have the kicker for PayPal. My PayPal is there. You can always help out this guy, keep moving forward, not be broke on one salary all the time. Other than that, a few missions in the columns. I need somebody to write German missions so I can fulfill the German side so that they can get a little action in and have targets, but I'll try to get some of that done over Christmas break. I will be leaving, however, for Christmas break for 4 to 5 days, going up to visit my folks, taking my kids up to see their grandparents. Again, then you can dictate your own speed. See, I could script all these missions to just load throughout the day and attack particular airfields. But I mean, once you make it player-centered, you know, then you only have players coming in and doing the bomber missions. You don't even have AI doing 0 of the bomber missions. You don't have any mission loads. You don't even have to do any of that. It's all now player-centered. Like bomber squadrons come in and they take their squadron of bombers and they pick a target and go after their 2 targets and go after it and simulate their bombing aspect. You know, they could drop on one target as a group and then drop on another target as a group. But the lead bomber has command of all of that. So the settings that I put on the bomber panel can be in there. Not only just opening the doors and dropping the bombs, but all of everything that I do on the bomber panel sets all of the AI bomber panels. And they do the same release that I do. You know, you could really, as I said, make this very player-centered and player-oriented to where it's all, you know, especially in multiple player, it's now not so much AI spawning and just popping in and being there. You're commanded by, you know, only so many bases can take command of, you know, can take fighter squadrons, you know. And once they reach that limit of aircraft at the base, they can't take another fighter squadron. So you're only getting 1 or 2 squadrons of fighters from bases to fly air cover. You know, or, you know, you got pilots that, don't want to take a squadron. Well, that's fine. Multiple, they just jump into their plane and join your group. I mean, there's just so many options that I've come across that I think would just be so great for the multiple player experience in Cliffs of Dover. So that when you guys do go to 8.0, you guys got a whole nother level of gaming. And it's multiple player friendly as well as single player friendly. Again, if you're just joining me, call signs Black Knight. Hey, welcome to my live stream on YouTube. Just flying a Wellington bomber, and it's just a 1C with a group of bombers headed towards Wissan. The other thing is that is nice is that even if you had people that didn't even want to fly, I mean, every one of the guys can jump in a bombardier seat. In all of those planes, they could just jump in the bombardier seat. Then, if they're in the bombardier seat, they can control the formation as well as the spacing of that bomber flight. That's cool. An example, if a guy jumped in and said, hey, let me grab that other flight too. I'm coming in at, let's say, what is that, Littlestone down here. If I tell him to spawn in at Littlestone, you know, grab the Bombardier of Flight 1, and hey, you grab the Bombardier flight of that flight. Because all of them should pop up in the menu. So you've got all of the 148 and 144 squadron. I would say, hey, yeah, grab a Bombardier in the 144 squadron. Then they could just go along for the ride. But then again, if they jump into the pilot seat of the lead plane, now my goal is to stack in between A and B up there and just fly underneath that wingtip, in between their two wingtips and slightly back. So I've got to watch my speed here and get back to 140. So right now I'm at 0 pounds boost, cranking about 150. I think you can also fly that group until you get to, right before you get to waypoint 4, is go down to the bomber seat and give up the command of the plane by hitting tab 5, or by hitting whatever your release seat is. And you release the pilot seat, and he's just AI. It says air targets. about to the tip of English Point. Going to be jockeying right, then left, line up the sun. Just checking the stream, make sure everything's looking good. Alright. Camera's looking good, feed looks good. Again, controlling of waypoints after you call in your group. And I think it would be better if we were able to take off, you know, because then if you spawned park, and then before you move onto the runway, you go to the map and move your waypoint to where you want to fly your patrol. So you've got 1, 2, and 3. So 1's takeoff. Being able to move the waypoint and then change the 3 waypoint to a landing waypoint would be good, because then the planes aren't going to fly around the base till they run out of fuel. Again, I haven't tried to set up bombers yet to do this from the ground, but again, as I said, it is hard to do because the waypoint is so close, and to get this aspect moving forward in an two, it's then commanding to the tower that, hey, we want to land, and you're like, well shit, I just got started. So as I said, all it would take would be to talk to one of the coders from Team Fusion to get this aspect moving forward in an unbelievable, I think it would be an incredible direction. Even if there's a command in the windows to command in mission 4, you know, tell flight 1 to open bomb bay doors. And then you could just use your voice command, flight 1 open bomb bay doors. And then they all open. Flight 2 release bombs. Or flight 1 release bombs, or bombs away. Because then I could watch these guys open my bomb bay doors, command them to open their bomb bay doors. I still think it would be easier if I hit my flight, follow what I'm doing. Whether it's open my bomb bay doors, release bombs, or even setting the panel. Everything I do on this panel, they do. As I said, the only bomber that's going to work is myself. Those guys to my left and right are cannon fodder. Their bombs won't count, but all of these guys' bombs will count. And all of the bombers behind me will count. As I pull up a little tighter. Get ready to release my bombs on Lasan. I said, TWC Anonymous, he'll be down for a few days. But again, might be able to log back on and get himself functioning as soon as he gets everything situated. Get him back on comms and got a few more minutes to this hop. We're just about there. Figure we got 5 minutes to target. That's the other thing. Let's say you can put that waypoint right on the airbase you're flying to. Why manipulating those waypoints would be pretty cool, but I think all you need to do is just be able to manipulate the one and move it away, and as long as your bomber group follows your commands, it should work. Got a pretty good formation here as long as I can javelin this to the right in between these two. I'm just going off of that flight lead. Okay, here come the fighters. Ready to release. Bombs away. The sun has been destroyed. taking some hits. Go set up on final at see, since there's no return to base, I can't send them back to base because we didn't take off, so I just have to abort the mission to send my guys home, but again, they won't land because there's no takeoff point or landing point on the way on the map. That's why I was saying that when you spawn in an air spawn landing, I don't know where you could put that in the code or where it is in the code. That would be perfect. I wouldn't even know where to begin to look. Heck, I can't even work with the strategy deal anymore to fix it to where it's fog of war. Need to create a tick box for fog of war. I don't need to see how many AI frickin' get shot down. I don't need to see any of who shot down who. I don't want that to be available. And when I went to go change the new DIL, I can't do it. So I brought in an old DIL so I could have fog of war on the server. So, just FYI, guys, need a fog of war tick box in gameplay so that the log server doesn't get crowded with bullshit. AI shot down, Spitfire AI shot down AI 109, or vice versa, or bomber got shot down, or ship got blown up. All of that stuff in the strategy DIL. You have to have a way of having a tick box block it out. If you're not going to let us do it, then figure out a way to do it, because I think that data popping up in my log window is useless. You don't need it. setting up for a final at Manston. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to get a refresher on a coffee, and then I'll do a fighter sweep and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Try to do it from a base and see if it'll work at takeoff. I'll do it as line astern and make sure everybody is previous waypoint, previous waypoint, previous waypoint. But because there's two of them, I don't even know if I can get it to work. I'll try. If it doesn't work, I'll spawn in at an air spawn and pick a squadron at an air spawn. I'll do a back base like Biggin Hill, or I think I set up Kenley to do a squadron spawn. I use a touchscreen overlay on my Samsung, so I can just touch the screen for those key things. So I can use the just a nice relaxing hop. A nice relaxing hop. All right, so I'm going to take a short break. Let me get over here to Kenley and get ready, and then I'll jump off on a short break and do Croydon. I'll see. Let's just grab some spitties, and we'll take a full fuel load since we're flying from Kenley. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a minute. I'll be right back. Make sure. Over to the airfield or he'll taxi. So I'm just waiting with myself and my group. I've got 5 of us. So they move us over to the airfield. I then want to take back command of said aircraft. I'm rolling. Now, I want to make sure as I take off, get my gear up. I want to avoid waypoint 2, so I'm going to turn really quick. Wait. See if they take off. Now I might have rushed it. See, and they'll just sit there. forced them to get in the air, but I don't know. We'll see. See if that worked. No, not this morning. Possibly got them all that time. Well, let's start flying our hop towards the coast. See what happens. Drop my throttle. Drop my RPMs. Get into cruise mode. All right, this is Black Knight. Hopefully that we are broadcasting in the Spitfires. All right. So I did do some extra work to get command of my flight on that takeoff. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know where my 5th one is. He might still be on the ground. He's got a busted engine. Again, just those little quirky things you shouldn't have to do. I should be able to command my group as soon as I get in the game. I shouldn't have to take control on the airfield. I should be able to taxi. They should all follow me in taxi once I take command. But again, even if you do make taking a fighter squadron in air spawn, just make sure that when you analyze the map and you look at the spawn point, just make sure number 3 is a landing spawn point. As I said when I took off in the bombers. Got some bombers returning, looks like. Just missing C. Looks like I don't have command over them. So I'm going to turn on my radio. We'll go pick a fight over Boulogne. see what happens. See if I can get these guys to engage. Want the entire flight to target air fighters. Like you should have command of flight 1. You should have command of flight 2. Like if I brought in 2 flights of 3, I'll show you that next. I'll bring them in at Canterbury so that the hop is a little bit shorter than coming from Kenley. But I was able to maintain them. See, now that said, next point they would be filing to land, but I was able to maintain them. All right, not too bad on the views. So I've got a group of planes in multiple player flying squadron formation with me, headed towards probably the Boulogne area. I'll pick up a fight. Again, right now I have them set to tab, would be tab recipient flight 1. I did set air targets to be 3, and they did fly kind of crazily, but then they winged back up with me. That's my number 2. Number 2. a group in Sector J8. Clear that, it's mapped in Sector J8. Yeah, if I could just grab that waypoint 2 and move it to an area like out here, like we're going to control Sector J8. Right off the lane. I'm guessing Hastings about override. Like it's myself and 3, or myself and 2 others. I'll set other one to the clouds. I hit that engaged fighters. I'm gonna hit flight. It only took 1 flight. And thank you for the 16 views. It's increasing to 18. I do believe the chat window is up and available. So if you send me a chat message, I don't know what that group is. It could be a fighter sweep coming back, patrol. That's one of ours. I haven't heard tally ho. It's a patrol coming back. Still no sign of that other guy. He's had engine trouble. See, all of this information in the log window, we have to have a key binding or a tick box that gives us fog of war. I don't need to see this information in the log window. I don't. So again, I was able to do it in the strategy deal, but I can't do it now. I don't know what you guys did, but for some reason I can't block out that code to make it work. So that kind of sucks, because those of us that like fog of war and don't want to see all that crap spewing up in our window, let's see how we do. So we're going to pick up one of each terminal controls. Myself and 2 others against 6. Well, I want to get my tab up. I want to get my recipient for flight. soon as he says tally ho, I'm going to hit air targets and click fighters. See what happens. Somebody attacking me by now. I'm getting this free flight hop going. fly up towards Dunkirk. Again, thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Those 18 views. Thank you. Just doing a squadron hop with Warbirds Prey server. Got myself and 2 other planes. Could set it up to even do a larger group, but again, trying to get them to engage, trying to get the AI to time left and see how much time I have left. I think I should have plenty of time. Only 8 hours in. There's a group of 6. Triggered. Let's see what they do. Oh my God, 9 Q suck. Jeez. That was an easy kill. Gone by way of the dodo. Oh my golly, you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Come on. Ah, terrible. There's some pieces. Oh, down to 303s. Shit. think I really got to bug out of here because I don't think that kid's going to help me. Get in the fight, boy. Coming in hard. Oh, that hurt. Oh, yeah. I'm in trouble. I have no elevator. Gotta bail. See, the only guy I got left, I wonder where this guy is. He's beat up. He's already been shot up. He's got no rudder, no elevator. He might as well bail. So therein lies the dilemma, is really getting your squadron to engage. Now, the easiest air spawn is you can go 3 by 3 and create. So you have 2 flights of 3. And I just got hurricanes, but 5, 1. Now, the one thing that I noticed is that I've got command of these guys. Make sure we're on previous waypoint. Was our starting point. Let's take this group of AI night fighters over and see if we get better action out of them. Let's just see if there's a difference between the core game and then what the Team Fusion Blitz game with the Mark IIs. If they engage. So let's see what we got for recipients. Who's flying with me? Sure everybody's flying with me. go fly towards French Point and see if we can't pick another fight. It was a good fight, but again, making sure the planes engage. So this is the original game plane. See what happens. There's something between Blitz and the original planes if there's something in the original code that sends these guys to attack. And in number 2 doesn't send them to attack. I wanted to try this and actually get a recording of it. So this is a good test between original Cliff's code in squadron release of planes and attack versus Blitz with the version 2 aircraft. Report contacts on. Watch these guys go in. There should be a rejoin. If they just engage in the fight. Fight or not, but I hope so. nothing. So much speed in that E7. Hard to fight in a 1, but still not getting any help. Don't see them guys attacking. I have no elevator. Bastards. Get out of here. show you the command window. What are we doing with recipients? Tab 1. What are we doing with recipients? Element and group, flight and group. And when you hit flight, you should have another list of flight 1, 2, or 3, like you do wingmen in the bombers. Just some thoughts there on how to clean that up. And then air targets should be just attack fighters. That's what it should be popping up as. And then your fighters, whatever group or whatever recipient you have selected, should send them to attack the fighters. So I could send Flight 2 to attack fighters. I could send Flight 1 to attack bombers. So just some different options. Trying to figure out how to get that to work a little bit better. Again, and to be honest with you, it doesn't even work in the single player unless it is already pre-scripted and there's a waypoint there. That's why when we go back to the main menu is, okay, why can't I take this waypoint, place it over this sector, and then put on it attack fighters or whatever? But I shouldn't have to. I should be able to command from here, being the person that's in the lead of this plane. I should have the ability to attack the fighters. Plane. Oh, he cut his wing off. Lost it. Yep. On something. Must have cut it off on my rudder. Yeah, he did. I have no rudder control. Anyway, well, those are my 2 hops this morning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Trying to get a new look, maybe working with the guys at Team Fusion and trying to get the player-centered capabilities of single player into multiple player and vice versa. Anyways, Black Knight signing out. You guys have a good day.